Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Zeppelin and I'm sorry I haven't made a video in so long. But today I just wanted to make a video quickly talking about the Razer Raiju Ultimate and the problems that I've had with that controller in the brief time that I had use of that controller. So I had that controller in about 2018, not long after it came out. I was a big fan of the original Razer Raiju. I used it a lot. I've made a video on it before. Make sure to go check that out. It's on this channel. So when I saw that the Razer Raiju Ultimate was coming out, I was very excited. I was a big fan of the first one, as I just said, and I wanted to see where the company was going to go with pro controllers next, because as I had mentioned in my previous video, I preferred using those controllers to the SCUF because they offered the entire package for slightly cheaper. The only thing you were really missing is the customization options that you get with the SCUF controllers. These controllers had your back button attachments, your trigger locks, your clicky feel buttons, everything that you'd really want in a pro controller that would cost you way extra with SCUF came as a standard with the Razer controllers. So therefore I was a big fan of them. When the Razer Raiju Ultimate came out, I was very excited. I got it pretty much on the day it came out. I had it ordered from the Razer Raiju website, which was about €200 at the time, although you can now get it somewhere else cheaper if you're looking for it. And I have to say that I was so disappointed with the controller as it had borderline unplayable options. And I have to say I was really disappointed with the controller, as some of the things that were wrong with it made it completely unplayable. Right, so as you'll see here, I'm using my Twitch setup, my Twitch overlays, which you can go follow me on Twitch at Zeppelin77 if you want to see more content along the lines of this, along with regular gaming content. But I thought I'd use this format quickly just to show you what the controller looks like, but you probably know yourself the basics of the controller, right? It's similar design to the Razer Raiju. It's a minor upgrades. The biggest design change being the back of the controller, as we can see here, as it got rid of the original two back buttons and replaced them with more flat panels. Now this was actually something I was really worried about when the Razer Raiju Ultimate came out, because I was a really big fan of the back panels on the original Raiju. But I have to say, when I got this controller and I sat down and started using it, I was pleasantly surprised with the feel of the controller and those back buttons. They felt clicky, responsive, they felt more comfortable than the originals, and overall the whole feel of the controller felt more premium, and it felt like it was a better design. Like it felt like a level up in terms of quality of a controller. However, as you can tell by the title of this video, the Razer Raiju Ultimate Problems, this controller was not perfect. In fact, it was far from perfect. When I got this controller out of the box, the stick drift in it was ridiculous. It was the worst stick drift I've ever experienced in any controller. If you want to know how bad it is, let me explain it for you quickly. Say you're playing a first-person shooter like Call of Duty, and you'd be running forward straight as normal, as you'd maybe see here on this controller. You're running forward and you're moving with this and you're turning with this. When you would turn, say for sometimes I was turning quickly, you did just that, just like that quickly. The person on the screen would actually begin to spin and nearly do a full 360 before the movement would stop. That's how bad the stick drift was. And I was so disappointed with that, because other than that, the controller to me was fantastic, and it was a step up from the original Raiju. But anyway, I had a 2-year warranty with Razer, and I thought, well, I'll just return it and get another one. You know, it's a hassle to go through their warranty system. It isn't exactly the easiest, or wasn't the easiest when I dealt with them. But I thought, screw it, I've paid my money for this and I want to get a good quality product. So 2 weeks passed and I eventually get a new Razer Raiju Ultimate through the door, out of the box. Super excited to play it. 2 games into Call of Duty Black Ops 3, I think it was at the time. The exact same thing happened again. The stick drift was just as bad. This is where I was beginning to get very suspicious of Razer and their actions, because I've heard for a long time on lots of different products that they are cheaply made. But I thought, well, maybe I was just unlucky. 2 faulty models, it happens. SCUF has problems with their controllers all the time. So I go through the warranty process again and I get my 3rd controller. And I think, surely to God, there cannot be any problems with this now. 3rd controller in, they wouldn't have 3 faulty controllers. Or so I thought. I get the controller out of the box. The same problem again. I mean, how can you get away with that as a company? You know, how can you think that people aren't going to notice these things, that people are just going to let these things pass? Eventually, after this controller, I just gave up. I went back to the original Raiju. I used my warranty just to cave in and get a headset from them as well, which I must say, the headset was great. If Razer are to make anything, they should stick with their headsets, because honestly, this controller was a disaster. And it was so disappointing because it felt like they had improved in nearly every area, but just released a broken product. And clearly, it wasn't just something that I was incredibly unlucky with. If I got it 3 times, this was a problem off the factory line, a problem they probably knew about going into production and thought that they could get away with it. And I think I said this in my previous video, but surely the only group of people who are really going to notice any minute problem with their controller are people who are going to be buying pro controllers, because they're usually buying them for competitive gaming, where they know the ins and outs of their controller and every aspect of their controller that they need to improve their game. So even the most minimal amount of stick drift would be noticeable to a player of that standard, never mind the ridiculous stick drift that came with this controller. Now, I have heard since I got this was a 2018 version of the controller. I did hear that in 2019 they released an updated version of the controller plus multiple software updates to try and fix the stick drift. Now, the software updates that they had released in the time that I had the controller did not fix the stick drift one bit. However, the next model of the controller that they had released I never got, and it could be a version of the controller that worked perfectly, which if it did work perfectly, I'd honestly say go pick up the controller at a reasonable price. Obviously, with the PS5 coming out now, there might not be much of a need to pick up a pro controller as they will not work on next gen, but other than the problem that the controller had with the stick drift, it was a really nice controller. And that's what was the most disappointing thing about it. I mean, the design of it, as you can see here, is an upgrade. It's got that nice mesh type of feel at the back. 2 perfect back buttons, 2 buttons at the top, which honestly, don't know why they're there. They don't need to be there, but regardless, they are there. The color designs are cool. The sticks and thumb pads all interchangeable. As you can see down here, all of these parts are interchangeable. It was clever, a clever design and a good upgrade from Raiju, the original Razer Raiju. But it was just broken. It was broken off release, and even as on a matter of principle, I wouldn't want to go buy the controller now that it's working, because any company that thinks that they can sell people a broken product on release is a company that doesn't deserve to be dealt with. But yeah, that's all I have to say on this controller. Let me know the problems that you've had with this controller, because obviously if you've clicked on this video, you yourself has had Razer Raiju Ultimate problems, and I want to know what they are and put them down in the comments. And anyone who's watching this video, go down to the comments and see what people are saying about the controller, because that's your best indication is the community and what they've had with their experiences. And a lot of pro controller brands have been faulty over the years, especially with PlayStation. You've had stick drift off your Astro C40s, off your Thrustmaster. There's just been a lot of problems with pro controllers, and that's led to the likes of Scuff being able to charge extortionate prices with flaky warranty systems at best that do not guarantee really any protection for the customer. But hopefully Sony, now that they've made their back button attachment for the PS4 controller, will realize that the market is craving for Sony to make their own legitimate pro product in controllers, and hopefully now for the PS5 they will go forward and do something with pro controllers that'll make all of these controllers obsolete. But we will see if that happens. But for now, we are stuck with this and stuck wondering what is for next gen, and stuck with a very poor Razer Raiju Ultimate in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.